Hello and welcome to this video on approaches to develop performance for physical skills. What you need to know at National 5 PE. You need to be able to identify different approaches to improve your skills, you need to be able to describe these approaches, and you need to be able to explain why you selected this approach. Here are the 4 factors that impact on performance, and today we're going to focus on physical skill. Accuracy, consistency of skill, and technique are going to be the sub-factors that we look at. There are 3 different approaches that we're going to talk about in this video of how we can improve our skills, and these are shadow practice, repetition drills, and conditioned games. The first approach that we're going to look at is shadow practice, and this is where you practice a skill to get the feel of the action. This is used without any equipment or slight changes to the equipment, and it is used to improve our technique. Here is an example of shadow practice from basketball. Here you can see the performer practicing the steps of the layup and then jumping towards the basket. They will repeat this action over and over to get the feel of the action. So they step onto their right foot, their left foot, and they jump towards the basket. And they will repeat this motion like they would when they have a ball in their hands. Here is an example from badminton of shadow practice. You can see the performer starts in the middle, they then chassis to the back of the court and they play an overhead clear. They come back to the middle, they play an overhead clear and they go back. They will repeat this motion over and over. Here they're practicing on getting side on, transferring their weight and returning back to the middle. The next approach that we're going to look at is repetition drills. Repetition drills, similar to the word repeat, is where you practice a skill over and over. This helps you to develop muscle memory and groove the correct technique. This will also help to develop your consistency of skill, your control, and your accuracy. Here is some examples of repetition drills. Again, this example comes from basketball, and here you can see the performer now with a ball in their hand practicing the correct footwork for a layup. They will repeat this action over and over to groove the technique. So bounce, right, left, jump towards the basket. As it is repetition, they will keep practicing this particular skill over and over. Here is an example from badminton of a repetition drill. The performer will receive a high serve, they will then play an overhead clear to the back of the court, trying to land it in the target area. Each time they will let the shuttle land to see if they are getting it into the right area of the court. And they will repeat the same skill over and over. The last approach that we're going to look at is conditioned games. Conditioned games are when you change the rules of an activity or an area to promote a certain skill. An example of this would be playing 3-touch in football to develop passing and moving. This allows you to practice a skill in a game-like context and under pressure. There is more difficulty with this approach than there is for shadow practice or repetition drills. Here is an example of a conditioned game from badminton. The condition on this game was that if you won the point with a drop shot where it lands close to the net, they got 3 points rather than 1. Here you can see the performer in the black trying to play a drop shot as often as possible. So they're playing a game, but the rules have been changed so that a drop shot is worth 3. So that would score 3 points. So both performers are trying to play a drop shot. If they win the point with a drop shot like there, that will score 3 points. At National 5 PE, you'll be asked to describe different approaches that you use to improve your skills. When you're describing them, you have to tell the marker what was the approach, what was it called, where did you complete the approach, when did you use it, who did you complete it with, and most importantly, how did you use it, what did you do during that approach. You may wish to start your answer with something like, an approach I used was repetition drills. And then you would go on to describe an example of repetition drills. You may also be asked at National 5 PE to explain why you selected these approaches. These approaches may be relevant to your stage of learning. Shadow practice is a great way to practice a skill or something that you are new to learning. And conditioned games, because it is a lot more difficult and more complex, is something that you would look to use at the practice or automatic stage of learning. If we take repetition drills, for example, in repetition drills it's okay to make mistakes. Because you are not in a game situation where there is no pressure, you get multiple opportunities to have success and improve your skills. Shadow practice allows you to get the feel of the action and groove the correct technique, and this will help you to, if you do it over and over, develop the muscle memory so that this skill becomes natural and automatic. And as we've said, there's limited pressure here, and you can gradually increase the difficulty as the weeks go on and you move from repetition to conditioned games. Thanks for watching this short video on skill development. I hope you found it useful. There's more content on the channel at Mr. Cassell's